Justice Donatus Okorowo held that Silva, having been sworn in twice and ruled for 5 years as governor of Bayelsa State, it will amount to a breach of the 1999 Constitution if allowed to contest again on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC. A member of the APC had asked the court to order electoral body INEC to delete Silva's name from the list of candidates. He says that by the provision of Section 182, subsection 1b of the 1999 Constitution as amended, Silva isn't qualified to contest because he was elected in April 2007 and May 2008. While citing the Court of Appeal judgment in April 2008 that nullified his election in 2007, the former Minister of State for Petroleum maintains he is within his constitutional and legal rights to contest the Bayelsa State governorship election. In a swift reaction, the Director of Media and Publicity for the APC Bayelsa Governorship Campaign Council, Perry Tukwe, says a team of lawyers have approached the Court of Appeal expressing confidence to overturn the judgment of the Federal High Court. The party says there is a practice directive by the Supreme Court that all pre-election matters be heard in the state where the primaries took place, but in this particular instance, the suit was filed in Abuja. Godfrey Eshamuge, Arise News.
So joining us now on the morning show from our Abuja studios is Liberoso Shoma, a lawyer and human rights advocate. Mr. Shoma, please lay this bare for us and help us understand what is going on.
Thank you, Rufai. Apart from what your reporter has said, there are two basic issues here. The first one is the judgment that he referred to, and the second one is there's a pending matter also that borders on the disqualification of the running mate to Silva. That's Chief Joshua McIver. I don't know if you have also seen that video, if you have also heard the report, where Joshua McIver admitted clearly that he was convicted sometimes in 2004 for act bordering on terrorism, and that he didn't serve that jail term. He jumped prison. He broke prison when MEND came a month and 1 week later to release him from prison. So for this one, I think APC might be challenging this ruling on appeal coming under Section 29, subsection 5 of the Electoral Act that has to do with who the local standee to file, and then also the time within which the application was brought. But the main issue for me, really, after looking at the two issues, is the issue of the conviction of a running mate, whether Nigerians should be compensating people who had been convicted with political office. We have one issue of certificate forgery hanging, debating, hanging on the credibility of Nigeria and the president as we speak. And yet, also, you have another one in Bayelsa where somebody who's been convicted and sentenced by the court and who also admitted to breaking jail is a candidate, in an election in APC. I don't know.
What's the precise detail of that McIver's case? Can you give us the precise detail? And let's talk about the judgment and all of that as regards the McIver case, please. Yeah.
Okay, then. So in charge number FHC KD 119C/2004 between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Joshua McIver. The charge read that you, Joshua McIver, and others at large on or about the 17th of April 2004 in Ologbobiri community, Southern Ijaw, Bayelsa, within the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court, dress yourself in military camouflage and attack Tebidaba Ajib oil flow station with military rifles with intent to overrun and coerce Ajib Petroleum to enter into an agreement with you. So, in that charge, that was the sole charge in that matter, and the court, the Federal High Court, ruled that the convict was not remorseful and that to serve as a deterrent against future occurrence, and that he was subsequently committed to 10 years imprisonment. In his words, the man said, yes, he committed that act and he was not remorseful. But that he had his plan, that he was supposed to be, that MEND was formed and MEND, wanted him to come head the Bayelsa arm of MEND, and that a month later that MEND broke jail and rescued him. And that so if you say that he committed jailbreak, that he proudly committed it, and he's not remorseful about it. So that is a conviction. We're not talking about, a crime that was committed that had not been convicted. That's a conviction. You remember in the last election, it was whether the names, Degi Eremiyo and all of that. And now also you're having somebody who proudly had admitted to being convicted. When I saw the video, I had goose pimples. Somebody who had admitted to being convicted by court and who had not even served the sentence is being feeded as a running mate. And so for me, anyway, I won't go deep into the matter because the matter is in court. But for me, the challenge here is that you don't even need to go to court for the police, the DSS or the National Security Advisor to immediately arrest such persons and hand them over to the correctional prisons, correctional services to serve their sentence. Because this idea of go to court is suddenly gaining traction under APC. And it is, for me, it is very sad and unfortunate that these people when they were in opposition, these were some of the things that they accused the PDP of doing. And now they are in government. It seems worse that somebody who had been convicted, and if you even see the arrogance with which this man was talking about, yes, I proudly did this thing, it shows that we do not even have respect for our laws. And I also think that quickly, this is an opportunity for the judiciary also to stand tall, because the judiciary has been in the eye of the public, had been battered for too long over this election petition. And now we are building to another election petition in another election in 3 states in November, and then all of these things are coming up. It's quite unfortunate, really, and I think that the APC should not just take my words, they should investigate. The video is online. They should investigate and do the needful so that we do not further ridicule Nigeria in the eye of the Committee of Nations.
All right, thank you very much for saying this. Now, I want you to tell us, from a legal perspective, I mean, Mr. Tinubu Apc has this case to answer with regards to whether he's even eligible or he still stands disqualified because of the time limit. And now we have his deputy in the spotlight in terms of Mr. McIver. What is the implication of this in terms of, do they even have an opportunity in terms of the APC fielding candidates for the November 11 elections? Because even if we don't get it on Mr. Silva's part, Mr. McIver on his end has his own case to answer. And out of curiosity, my question would be, why has it taken this long for this case to emerge in terms of why didn't the party at party level, why didn't they do any background or preliminary checks? Is it admissible that his lawyer, that Mr. McIver's lawyer, said that it is statute bound in terms of 10 years? Does it still apply since he didn't serve his term, the fullness of his 10-year term? Or what would you say on this?
We would be talking about, thank you very much, we would have been talking about 10 years if he had served his term. Since he didn't serve at all, it is still presumed that this man that was convicted, that broke jail, the correctional services are still looking for him. And also, during this amnesty program in the Niger Delta, a lot of people blanketly, hid under the cover of, yes, amnesty program, and, started parading themselves as people who were granted amnesty. But if you look at Section 175 of the Constitution, it spells out the provisions and grounds for granting amnesty. And so, the Joshua Darie and Jolly Yame that were granted amnesty, every layman in Nigeria knew the procedure that were followed. Amnesty or pardon, we all knew the procedures that were followed. But in this case, when there is no gazette and nothing like that, but it's also tell you the political environment that we operate in, where people who, once you join the ruling party, you remember my big Oshomole, Senator Oshomole, once said that if you join the ruling party, your sins are forgiven. And so I also want to presume that maybe this is what is playing out. But unfortunately, the fortunate part for me is that this is coming up before the election, because after the election, if anything had happened, we would have been chasing, maybe going to Kaduna or going to Toronto or wherever, Chicago. But in this case, this is before the election. So there's still time for the party to do the right thing and distance themselves from this act of criminality admitted to have been committed by their member. And also, on the issue of Section 182, that's, will be for the court to decide, because, like I said, there might be some hurdles that the applicants might want to cross. But on the issue of criminality, there are no hurdles. We don't even need anybody to go to court. For somebody, even let's assume that the party were not aware. The moment the man came out in the gathering of the political party to confess that, yes, I was convicted and I broke jail, at that point, immediately it becomes a police matter. Immediately it becomes a DSS matter. Imagine if this were just anyhow person who does not belong to a political party. It would have been declared wanted by the police with large posters everywhere and a screenshot, that he's wanted by the police. But today, because he's a member of the political party, he's been feeded, they pretend not to know. And so that is why for some of us who are interested in public interest matter, we are drawing their attention to it, that if you do not know, the police now we are telling you, the DSS we are telling you, the Office of National Security Advisor, we are telling you that you don't even need a court order, because a court had given the order. And I have also read out the charge and then the suit number. The records are there at the Federal High Court in Kaduna. So you don't need a court order to make an arrest. So that at the end of the day, it does not look as if when tomorrow this person wins an election, or the court now say, well, in the first place, you were not qualified to stand for an election. It looks as if court are now the determinant of election outcome. So, and that's why it is timely now. And also we pray the PDP as a political party. And maybe they probably don't know how to play opposition. This is the time. Yes, that's the video. This is the time for them to begin to learn to play opposition party politics and take up this matter and ensure that the right thing is done. But unfortunately, for some of us, we can't fold our hands. We want a society that our children will be proud, to inherit. You work and then you'll be rewarded. Not a society that will be rewarding with criminality, with political offices. The implication of that is that you're telling people who have the capacity to carry arms that are not carrying arms that criminality pays, that all you need to do, even if you are convicted, that you will be compensated. It is already bad enough that government is granting amnesty to political office holders that have corruptly enriched themselves after conviction. It is also would be very bad if, as we speak now, the next thing government hurriedly, package amnesty for this same man. It's quite unfortunate, and Nigerians should not, gloss over this.
Okay, Liboros, yes, about the Makava case, I guess that's fairly straightforward. But in the matter involving Chief Tinubu Apc, the party in Bayelsa said they are going ahead with the campaign and they are going on appeal. And what are their grounds? That, look, this is a pre-election matter, and that the man that went to court, he doesn't have locus. It's not even, he didn't take part in the primaries.
Yes.
2, they're saying that, the matter was filed out of time. And then 3, they are saying the practice directive is that, look, that matter should have been heard in Bayelsa, not in Abuja. But my question to you is, even if...
I can't hear you.
Oh, but I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, we seem to have lost audio connection with him. Yeah, okay, I was going to ask him. Look, since it's a joint ticket, right? Will he say that that ticket is defective per se? As we saw in Dege Remi Onye case, in this same Bayelsa, the person who had issues was the deputy governor. And then a day to their swearing in, the court said no. It's a joint ticket, so it is defective because it's not one man going. The constitution is very clear. You must have a deputy. And if your deputy, is not qualified, then you two are not qualified. But do we have him now? Liberos? Okay, I think we just have to thank Liberos Oshoma.
Country is that I'm really so surprised that a matter that is sub judice, that is before the apex court of the land, is still being debated and, people giving it a kind of, media trial. You see, you can only have a court of competent jurisdiction to adjudicate in a case, especially where anything of similar crime is alleged. They are investigative agency backed by the Constitution who could investigate and prosecute. And let me tell you, there isn't much that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has come to tell us. Because one, when you have submitted your petition to the court, it is expected that you allow the court to evaluate the evidence you have put before it. You don't go by convincing Nigerians why they have to reject Asiwaju. It's not about his person. You might not like the person of Asiwaju. If you are a good advocate, an apostle of rule of law, then let the law take its course. You have submitted everything you have gotten from anywhere you have gone to the court. The court has jurisdiction over it, and the court will have competent lordships of the Supreme Court who are more than qualified and more than competent to adjudicate on it. So for me, I would believe that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar should allow the court to deliberate on the issue and give his judgment. And when judgment has been given, let it be acceptable to Nigeria. The way Nigeria is at the moment, Nigeria is in critical situation that everybody that is a lover of this country need to come up and support Asiwaju to lead Nigeria and to restore the hope of the hopeless of people of this country.
I will only drop the fight when the court rules. If the court rules that I am right, fine. If the court rules that he is right.
Talking as if we live in a society without law. Like I said, many people are favorably disposed to media trial than really facing the issue and the provision of the relevant laws of this country. Our constitution, the 1999 constitution as amended, provided for presumption of innocence. If you are not a court of competent jurisdiction, whatever allegation you have against anybody, submit it to the test of the law. If Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has done that, we should allow Asiwaju to concentrate and lead this country to a meaningful destination. Nigerians are hungry. There are many controversies surrounding Alhaji Atiku Abubakar too. But what I'm saying is that let's allow the court to adjudicate whatever allegation. If it has not been proven in the court of competent jurisdiction, it is not yet the law. As it is today, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of Nigeria, and so it is. And any lover of Nigeria who wishes Nigeria to move forward and for the people of this country to be liberated from the economic hunger, the poverty that is prevalent everywhere, they should support the president. Give him idea, give him what you have, so that he can put that into his program and lead this country out of the present predicament we have. When you look at the antecedent of Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, yes, this is just about, we are approaching the 6th month or 5th month of him being sworn in as the president of Nigeria. Asiwaju has taken steps. Look at various appointments, various changes. And that is why people like us, we are advocating, we are pleading with every meaningful Nigerians to put hand on deck and support this present government to succeed. Now, all the promises he has made, he has not really deviated from any. We should allow him time. He has not even used 6 months in his term. But I can assure you, by the grace of God, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed will try to the best of his ability, and knowing full well the calibers of appointments he's making, we should give them some time. And we know Nigeria is in an emergency situation. But I can assure you, by the grace of God, Asiwaju will do his best. At the end of the 4-year period, I can assure you Nigerians will be happy that they've gotten a president that understands their situation. During the presidential campaign of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he explicitly said it, that he wasn't a magician, but he has what it takes to take this country out of the problem we are in at the moment. And let me tell you also, you have to be conscious of the fact that Asiwaju just came in as the president of this country. Other parties have ruled this country since 1999 that we embrace this democratic dispensation. The PDP were there for 16 years. Asiwaju was not responsible for the refineries not working. Asiwaju wasn't responsible for lack of the incompletion of Lagos-Ibadan Express Road and many other important national roads across the nation. Asiwaju wasn't responsible for that. But you see, as a very good technocrat and as somebody that they've gotten a president that understands their situation. During the presidential campaign of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he explicitly said it, that he wasn't a magician, but he has what it takes to take this country out of the problem we are in at the moment. And let me tell you also, you have to be conscious of the fact that Asiwaju just came in as the president of this country. Other parties have ruled this country since 1999 that we embrace this democratic dispensation. The PDP were there for 16 years. Asiwaju was not responsible for the refineries not working. Asiwaju wasn't responsible for lack of the incompletion of Lagos-Ibadan Express Road and many other important national roads across the nation. Asiwaju wasn't responsible for that. But you see, as a very good technocrat and as somebody, a good tactician that knows what it takes, that understands economic policies, that understand good governance, which he has done. The template can be seen in Lagos, though we have not attained perfection. But I can tell you, when you compare Lagos to every other state in Nigeria, at least you will give kudos to him. When you look at some years back, the population of Lagos wasn't as large as this. But since he came, if Lagos has not been a prosperous state or city in Nigeria, people will not be trooping into Lagos to settle and to make business. But I can assure you, Nigeria at large, let's give this president time. He's not a magician, but that is not to exonerate him that he's not going to do something or is shielding away from his responsibility as a president of this country. Please, Nigerians should give him some time. And I can assure you, the man will give his best. And that is the more reason why his distractors, that goes about the certificate, that this and that, unsubstantiated allegation. They should put that aside. They should look at Nigeria holistically and let's see how can we move this country out of. Let me tell you one thing. You see, there are a lot of exceptional circumstances and exceptional actions that needed to be taken for this country to move forward. Now, Asiwaju came in and is assuring us that by December, the refinery will be working. Let's wait until that time he has given. He was not responsible for the surge in the prices of petroleum or not putting refinery into work. He has come as a problem solver. He will solve the problem and he has given timeline. Everybody are feeling the pains at the moment, but will you blame Asiwaju for that? Will you blame Asiwaju for unaccountable billions of subsidies in foreign currency, in dollars, that we are unable to be accounted for by the past opposition government? Will you blame Asiwaju for that? No. Asiwaju has come. He has given his word that he is going to tackle all those problems and he will bring succor to the faces of Nigerians and Nigerians will laugh again. And let's give him that opportunity.
The entire Chicago University matter, as well as Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu's many other legal identity question marks, have further worsened Nigerian less than glorious image internationally.
Everybody might not be pleased with him. Everybody might not be satisfied. But I can assure you, all over the globe, no government satisfies everybody in the country. I'm not a political jobber. I'm a lawyer. I've been privileged to travel across the globe. I know what I'm saying. My interview is not based on maybe pecuniary advantage, but I'm just telling you the way things is. Let me tell you, I'm very sorry to quickly go back to make reference to what you said about and then Chicago said this, Chicago said that. Have you forgotten what the former president of America is going through? Donald Trump. Are the people of America castigating him? Because the process is in court. It was alleged of fraud. It was alleged of treasonable offense. It was alleged of this. The case is in court. You don't see other contestant, other candidate going about. Don't allow him. Is this, is thief, is Asiwaju, is Bola Tinubu, is this and that. We have to catch up with civilization. We don't need to be reasoning like a barbaric people or people of Stone Age. We have courts in Nigeria. If you are not pleased with the court, you have appeal process. We have the Apex Court. When you maximize this legal process, then whatever you should be satisfied. It's not everybody that will become the president of Nigeria.